Hello everybody, Cat Matt here. Sitting in my truck, backed up to the muddy, flooded ramp here in Erie, Illinois. Just getting ready to drop the G3 in the water. Gonna do some winter catfishing. The fish now, the water's up to about 35 degrees, so the fish are still in their winter holes, but it won't be long now. We got some 60s forecasted for next week that you're gonna start to see them fish transition, and you're gonna see some stay in the hole for a little bit longer than others. And you're going to see a lot of them start to moving up on the flats, which we've already started to see a little bit of that, but not enough to get all excited about. I'm kind of hoping for one more round of flooding, which would be perfect, but you know, our weather in Illinois is never perfect. Well, anywhere in the country for that matter. So what we're going to do today is get back on the winter fish. They've really stacked up on the ledges now, and it's really awesome winter fishing. I wanted to cover some of the things that I use when I do this again. I know you've seen it in other videos and stuff, but this is a new year, so this is a new video. Matzuo hooks. I know everybody gets on the internet and they talk about this hook and that. Everybody's got their little pocket of buddies and all that good stuff. First off, these aren't a remake of somebody else's hook that we slapped a new name on and, you know, and gave it some exciting Jack Ripper quadruple action hook. Okay, Matzuo hooks, the sickle hook style, has the little plug at the bottom of the hook that really allows your hook tip to stay out off your bait a little bit, whether you're using live baits, cut baits, whatever you're using. It's a great bait. I use them. I use in 7/0. I use up to 15, 16-inch, 17-inch live baits with the 7/0 Matzuo, and then when I'm channel catfishing in the summertime using bigger pieces of cut bait, I'm using a 4/0. Winter fishing like I'm going to be doing today, I'm going to be using a 2/0. I'm going to be running 10, 12-inch leaders today with crane swivels. I really like them. Cajun line as always. I can put 12-pound Cajun line on and come out here, and you know, most of the fish I'm going to catch are going to be a pound to 6-8 pounds. But you know, if I hooked into a flathead, which every winter you do, you'll have one laying there on the bottom and you'll run some red worms or a piece of cut shad up on his lips and he'll just suck it in. You a lot of times you don't even know you got him. You know, you go to pick up your rod, whatever, and there's a bunch of weight there, you set a hook and it ends up not being a snag, but one of my buddies. But even with 12-pound line in open water, with as long as it's Cajun. Now remember, something a lot of you guys here, obviously you're on the internet, being that you're on YouTube. I want to tell you something. I've been part of the catfish community on the internet for about 10 to 12 years now. There's a lot of guys on the internet giving a lot of information about a lot of things, a lot of stuff, okay? Well, believe me, a lot of them guys don't fish all that much. They spend a lot of time on the computer reading, or they got buddies that tell them this, or they got buddies that tell them that. I'm telling you, I spent all my time on the river. People know me that do that. Because I say something is the best or great or something, does that mean it's true? Yeah, it means it's true. That's what I use. That's what I believe is the best. That's coming from somebody that's on the water 120 to 140 days a year using the stuff. I guide people. Okay, I can't afford to lose fish, to miss fish, to break fish off. I can't afford that stuff. I've built my business and my reputation on landing fish for clients. Okay, I'm not some Joe Blow that got on the internet and calls him this and catches one nice fish, and all of a sudden, you know, he's been fishing for 30 years and knows everything there is about it. These are tried and true methods, tried and true tackle and products that I use, because when a rod goes down, I know all that remains in that fight is my skill. If I lose that fish, it's going to be something I did or some uncontrollable force of nature. It's not going to be my line breaking. It's not going to be the hook. It's not going to be the swivel. It's not going to be the rod, the reel. I know with confidence that I can put a rod in the hand of a young person that has no experience on a 40-pound flathead, and they're gonna land that fish. Okay, now you can take that as for whatever you want to take it for. Okay, in this situation, however, like I said, we're going to be using Matsuo hooks, 2/0. I'm going to be using Polecat custom rods and some quantum rods. Some of my when the bite is really light, I go to a really small rod, an IM6 graphite, about 6.5, 7 feet. Otherwise, I'm using about a 7.5 foot Polecat custom rod, channel cat style, which is what I call it. It's a really good rod for the situation. I'm going to be using 1 to 2 ounce no roll sinkers, depending on how aggressive the bite is and how much I want my bait to slip. I'm going to be fishing a big eddy situation today, and by what I mean by slip is I'm actually going to be sitting in by the bank, casting across the water that is flowing upstream into the water that's flowing downstream. And so when I talk about slip, what I mean is when that sinker hits the bottom, you have a certain amount of resistance on your line. Thus, the small line, the smaller diameter line, what I like. I don't want it to drag my bait really fast. The water's 35. The fish are hungry, but they're not super aggressive. So I want the bait to move a little bit, but I don't want it to move real fast. So if that means I've got to use 1.5 ounces to get that slow drag stop, that's the action I'm looking for to trigger these fish. Okay, if 2 ounces it doesn't let it move, which means I'm going to have to hit the fish on the head every time to get bites. I don't want that. 1 ounce, the bait moves like this and it's gone, it's pulled all the way up onto the ledge already. I don't want that. Okay, so your line diameter and your sinker size are really crucial to getting the right action you want for semi-lethargic fish. Okay, so pay attention to that. The thicker the line, the more drag you get on your line. So you got to match your sinker, your line all up there with the rod action to get just what you want for these fish. I'm going to be using today all quantum reels. I like their low profile bait casting reels simply because I can throw them a mile if I want to. And a lot of days when you're fishing a big hole and the school of fish can be moving around, you know, instead of re-anchoring 15 times, I can cast one time 10 yards, next time 40 yards, next time 20 yards over here. And I can literally find the fish by casting instead of re-anchoring. It's a lot easier to throw a bait a little bit further each time and find fish or whatnot than it is to pick up, anchor, move, pick up, anchor, move. Okay, trying to work smarter, not harder. Obviously, I fish out, you know, my G3 back here. Love the boat. Driftmaster rod holders are perfect for this situation. I got 4 T500s in my boat, which for me is the way I like to fish. I know a lot of guys like to run the big system across the back and stuff like that. That's great. Me personally, I leave my back end open as much as I can because I got inexperienced people fighting big flatheads a lot, and I need that back open, not only for the person fighting the fish, but for me to be able to work the fish, move the line away from the motors, and land the fish by hand, which is the way real men do things. That's the way I roll. I use the Pro Series Duos. You're not going to bend one. You're not going to break one. You're not going to find a better family of people that make rod holders on the planet. You know, he makes his crappie rod holders, or crappy as they say down south. His rod holders suit a lot of people, whether it's the 3/8 or the 1/2 inch, it doesn't matter. They're the best. They're the most reliable. They're the most time-tested rod holders on the market, period. Okay, so if you ask me, hey Cat Matt, what would you use for a rod holder, I'm going to tell you Driftmaster every time. That's not because he sponsors us. Doesn't matter to me. I really don't give a crap who sponsors me, to be honest with you. Once I find something that works really well, I hate to change. Matter of fact, I never want to change. Sometimes things happen and it makes it necessary to change. But as far as I'm concerned, I'll be running Driftmaster rod holders until I'm done fishing. So, in short, in case I haven't missed it, you know I'm here on the Rock River. It's March 20. Okay, we'll go with that. March 20 something. And it's supposed to be 39 degrees today. It's about 32 now. I'm going to get the boat in the water. I'm going to get up, get set up, and try to do some filming, catching some fish today. You know, it's not as easy to do it alone as it is with somebody with you, but anymore it seems like we have so much fun when we go fishing together that we never end up getting the camera out. So one more thing I want to mention to you is the Profit Pride Gills, Bills, and Outdoor Thrills show coming to Provincetown in January of 2014. If you're interested in being a vendor there or a sponsor there, you know, you can get a hold of me at 815-590-1469. Also, this is going to be one show where it's not going to be dominated by bass lures and insurance agents, okay? Sure, there will be some of that stuff there, but we've already got bow and arrow companies on board. We've already got turkey calls on board. We've got catfish. We're going to have a lot of catfish supplies there, not only at the Catfish Academy booth, but other booths. You know, we're going to have ATVs and three-wheelers and G3 boats and all kinds of good stuff. Taxidermists, and the list goes on and on and on. We're going to have great seminars by really great person and smallmouth fisherman John Graham. I'm going to be doing some seminars on catfishing, like the same kind of catfishing we're doing today, trapping. Anyway, I could go on and on, which I usually do, but now at this particular moment it's time to go catfish. So I will see you at the catfish hole.